What's up guys, welcome back. I recently put out a video on the Kyveza intermission shell, cup, guessing game, whatever you call that. And some common feedback I received on that video is that people have more trouble with Dark Massacre, which is the 6 shadow clones that spawn and dash towards the player, one-shotting them if you don't face the clone directly. So today's video is going to be all about how I deal with that mechanic. The first thing we want to do is make the mechanic as visible as possible. One thing that certainly helps is enabling the red outline that helps contrast with the shadow clones themselves, as they're like a dark black blue. If you can't see the red outline, there are 2 game settings you'll need to adjust so that you can. The first one is outline mode, which can either be disabled or enabled in 3 different ways. Even the basic option of quest objectives is enough to get this to appear on the boss and the shadow clones. There also seems to be another game option that's required for this to actually show up though, and that's anti-aliasing. Apparently having anti-aliasing enabled prevents the outline from showing up in this fight, so if it's on for you and you can't see the outline, turn it off. A third setting you might want to look at is your gamma under graphics. My gamma setting is 1.4 and I've had it this way for years. This may not be something you want to do, but a few people in my comments have said it's easier to see in my footage than it is on their screen. My brightness and contrast are set to 50% each. I'm pretty sure those are the default values. And there is one more recommendation that might help you with this mechanic that I see some people using, and that is to hide your user interface during Dark Massacre. The default keybind for this is Alt-Z, though you can change that in the game options as well. Keep in mind that the game options now have a search function, so you can find all of the previously mentioned things just by typing in outline, anti-aliasing, gamma, and toggle user interface. And now we can move on to handling the mechanic itself during the fight. Before we get to that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video if the game settings helped you, let me know in the comments what spec you're doing the fight on, check the description for any spec guides I've already put out for this fight, and if you'd like to further support the channel while getting additional channel perks, you can check out our membership options by hitting the join button below. On hard mode, Dark Massacre has 6 shadow clones, and these fire off 2 seconds after her cast is finished and in 1-second intervals. To survive this, you'll need to directly face the shadow clones as they rush into you. You are afforded a few degrees of variance when you do this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be pretty close to it. If you're not facing the shadow clones, you will instantly die. Keep in mind that as long as you're facing that shadow clone, you can strafe left or right. You might need to do this to grab potions during the mechanic, but if not, I would generally just recommend holding your S key while maneuvering your camera by holding down right click so that you can intercept those dark rushes as they come at you. You won't be able to keyboard turn with enough speed or precision to handle this mechanic. You'll have to hold right click to adjust your character's facing. There's a couple reasons why I recommend backing up during Dark Massacre. The first reason is that it opens up more room in front of you while eliminating room behind you. This will keep as many shadow clones as possible in front of you while limiting how much you need to turn to intercept each one. I would also do this anywhere that isn't the direct center of the room, as it seems to be that if you favor one side of the room, you will generally force most of the spawns to be on that side of the room. And while I wouldn't guarantee anything, generally the clones don't spawn too deep in the shadows or very far across the room. So being just off center and continuing to back up should keep the majority of the clones in this kind of like 90-degree frontal cone in front of you. This will also move the boss as well, unless you have Bran or a pet tanking her, and moving the boss away from the currently spawned clones will free up that visual real estate so they're a little bit easier to see. This also seems to help prevent the clones from spawning on top of each other. Again, nothing's guaranteed, but in general this seems to be the case. The alternative to backing up is just to keep your feet planted and to turn into each clone as they begin to dash you. In practice, this seems to allow the clones to surround you a little bit more, meaning you have to make more severe turns to intercept each one appropriately, versus the backing up method, which tends to keep them mostly in front of you. And I will say this is one downside to having Bran or a pet tank the boss. This can act as visual clutter, which can make things more difficult to see if you have clones spawning very close to them or just behind them. I would say to keep using the backing up method in that scenario and just make sure you're creating distance from them and not backing up towards them. So when the mechanic actually comes out, it's important to keep in mind that you're only going to see 3 clones at any given time. You're going to see the one that's about to rush you, which will have the red charge up lines in front of it. The one that's going to go next, which will have a blue, black, gray, smoky aura around it that actually contrasts with the red outline mode that we enabled. And the clone that is currently spawning in, which is indicated by the vibrant blue and white light. As soon as your current clone dashes into you, number 2 is going to start charging up their dash, so you'll see that red line and the smaller red lines coming out of the front of that clone. The one that had just spawned in with the vibrant blue and white light will now have that smoky blue, black, gray aura that contrasts with the red outline mode. And the brand new ad number 4, which will spawn in with that vibrant blue and white light. There's about a 1/4 second overlap where you can see the one that is currently spawning in as well as the one that just dashed through you just behind you. It's important to discount the one that has already dashed through you. And in fact, once you've set up to intercept that dash, you shouldn't be paying attention to that one at all. You should be able to just see that they've dashed through you in your periphery as you focus on the smoky aura one and the one that is spawning in, so you know what your number 2 and number 3 clones are. The plan really isn't to memorize the order that they spawn in. You're really just looking at 2 of the 3 clones that are on the screen at any given time. You've already lined up with that first one, you know which way you're going to pivot for that second one because you can see that smoky aura, and then you're just continuously identifying that smoky aura for your next charged target, and you'll have a little bit of that object permanence still in your brain from the one that had spawned in with that bright white light. This all does happen very quickly, just a 1-second difference between each dash. You could also think of it as there's 2 clones on the board that are not the one in front of you, and you're going to face towards the one that is not spawning in with that vibrant white light. Whichever helps you identify the clone the best. But you're basically looking at a smoky clone and one that's spawning in with that bright white light. Even with these tips, it's important to know that you're going to have to go in and deal with this mechanic yourself to get a feel for it. You'll likely have to wipe to it a whole lot to adjust your timing and muscle memory to deal with it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think the fight's going to get adjusted any further, and I think there's just going to be a lot of growing pains that people have to deal with while learning it, but hopefully the videos help. I'm going to include a lot of examples of me dealing with the Dark Massacre mechanic for the remainder of this video, kind of like the shell game video, but I'm not going to speed them up, they're just going to go at normal speed. I'll even throw some failures in there. And these clips will all start with the very tail end of the Nether portal mechanic. Dark Massacre will always follow the Nether portal. I think it's important to start preparing for Dark Massacre as soon as that portal phase ends, and you can see that in a lot of my clips where I'm already moving out to the side for the previously mentioned reasons, trying to keep all of the mobs in front of me and off to one side. But that's it, we're going to run the remainder of the video of just clips of me handling the mechanic. I don't even know how long the video is going to be at this point, but we do got a lot of clips. So just consider the rest of the video training that will limit the number of times you have to wipe 40 seconds into the fight the first time you see the Dark Massacre. So I'll leave you to it. I'm going to replace myself with footage of Murphy sleeping on the couch, which may help ease the stress of watching this mechanic so many times in a row. But make sure you do subscribe to the channel, like this video if you found it helpful at all. Leave me a comment below and tell me what class you're doing this fight on, or let me know which class or spec guide you want to see next for the fight. Be sure to check the description. I'll keep updating that for the videos we do put out. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening. Peace.